Americans are known for their creativity and individuality, but when it comes to collecting, some take it to a whole new level. Imagine dedicating years of your life to gathering potato chips shaped like famous people or vintage clown shoes. Intrigued? Stick around. This list of 101 bizarre things Americans collect will make you laugh, gasp, and maybe even inspire you to start your own strange collection. First, old newspaper clippings. Newspapers from significant historical events, such as the moon landing or the end of World War II, are often treasured by collectors. Rare newspaper clippings, particularly those with unique or vintage advertisements, are valuable for their historical context. They serve as a time capsule, preserving moments in history for future generations. Second, vintage dentures. Forget gold watches or rare stamps. Antique dentures are a growing trend in niche collections. They come in all shapes and sizes, showcasing how dental technology evolved over centuries. Some even have golden teeth, giving them an extra shine in the display case. Third, canceled credit cards. While most of us cut them up, collectors cherish canceled credit cards for their unique designs. From limited edition Marvel superheroes to holographic animals, each card tells a small story about consumer trends over the years. Fourth, dead bugs encased in resin. These aren't just for science projects. Collectors prize insects like scorpions, beetles, and butterflies preserved in clear resin blocks. The most valuable ones often feature rare or exotic species, making them a mix of art and natural history. Fifth, celebrity hair locks. If you thought autographs were personal, try owning a lock of Elvis Presley's hair. Some collectors will pay tens of thousands of dollars to own these tiny, bizarre relics of stardom. Imagine showing that off during a dinner party. Sixth, broken musical instruments. Damaged guitars, cracked violins, and dented trumpets might seem useless, but collectors see them as historical treasures. A broken piano key, for example, could once have belonged to a jazz legend. It's less about function and more about the story behind the break. Seventh, movie ticket stubs. Movie ticket stubs, particularly those from iconic premieres or rare screenings, have become a favorite collectible. Fans of specific actors or films may collect tickets from every screening they attend, but some rare stubs, like those from the original Star Wars premiere, can be worth a lot, depending on the film's historical significance. Eighth, clown shoes. Massive, colorful clown shoes may not fit into most closets, but they certainly fit into this quirky collection niche. Some collectors hunt for shoes worn by famous circus performers, while others simply enjoy their playful absurdity. Ninth, lottery tickets. Used, of course. Used lottery tickets are collected not for their financial value, but for their designs. States often issue tickets with special themes, from holidays to sports teams, making them miniature works of art. Imagine a scrapbook full of dreams that almost came true. 10th, miniature grocery items. Tiny versions of everyday products, like miniature cereal boxes and soda cans, are surprisingly popular. These items often come as part of toy sets, but collectors see them as a fun way to recreate a pint-sized version of their favorite grocery store. 11th, salt and pepper packets. A simple seasoning packet becomes a time capsule when collected. Fast food chains, airlines, and restaurants often feature unique branding, making them fun to collect and compare over time. 12th, vintage asbestos warning signs. These relics from the past are both eerie and fascinating. Collectors see them as a reminder of industrial history and how far safety standards have come. Just don't hang one over your couch. It might raise eyebrows. 13th, barf bags from airlines. Unused barf bags are a quirky piece of aviation history. Airlines often printed logos or fun designs on them, turning them into unique collectibles. Bonus points for bags from defunct airlines, which are rare and highly sought after. 14th, old advertising signs. Advertising signs from the early 1900s or mid-century are highly sought after, especially those for well-known brands like Coca-Cola, Pepsi, and Ford. These signs, made from metal, porcelain, or neon, were once a common sight and now serve as nostalgic pieces of Americana, often fetching high prices at auctions. 15th. Belly button. Lint. It might sound absurd, but some people collect their own lint as a personal experiment. One Australian man has even set a world record for this unusual habit. It's proof that, truly, anything can become a collection. 16th. Rocks shaped like animals. Nature lovers often search for rocks that resemble animals, whether it's a stone that looks like a turtle or one shaped like an elephant. Some even polish them to enhance their features, creating a natural sculpture collection. 17th. Rubber duckies. From classic yellow ducks to themed versions like pirates or superheroes, rubber ducks are a favorite collectible. Entire shelves can be filled with these cheerful, squeaky companions. There's even an annual rubber duck race in some cities. 18th. Airplane safety cards. Collectors treasure safety cards as snapshots of airline branding and design history. Each card is like a little instruction manual to a bygone era of travel, and rare versions can sell for hundreds of dollars. 19th. VHS tapes of obscure movies. Streaming might be convenient, but some collectors still cherish old VHS tapes, especially of forgotten B-movies. Rare horror films in particular have a cult following among enthusiasts. 20th. Celebrity autographs on random objects. Instead of paper, some collectors ask celebrities to sign unusual objects, like guitar picks, sneakers, or even frying pans. The stranger the item, the more valuable it becomes in the collector's community. 21st. Vintage soap bars. Before liquid soap took over, companies created beautifully wrapped bars with intricate designs. Collectors love hunting for old soap brands with packaging that captures the style of different decades. Bonus points if the soap still smells fresh. 22nd. Pez dispensers. What started as a simple candy holder has become a worldwide obsession. From vintage Pez dispensers featuring Looney Tunes characters to limited edition Star Wars sets, collectors treasure these quirky, colorful gadgets. 23rd. Decoy ducks. Originally used by hunters to attract real ducks, these wooden decoys are now considered folk art. Hand-carved and painted decoys can fetch thousands of dollars, depending on their age and craftsmanship. 24th. Old concert tickets. For music lovers, old concert tickets are a way to relive legendary performances. Tickets from iconic concerts like Woodstock or early Beatles shows are prized by collectors. Some tickets, especially those from historical moments, can fetch hundreds or even thousands of dollars at auctions. 25th. Dead plant arrangements. Dried flowers are just the start. Some collectors create artful displays with dried-out cacti, bonsai trees, and even grass clippings. It's nature's way of saying, "I'm not done yet." 26th. Board game pieces. Forget the whole game. Some people collect just the pieces. A rare Monopoly token or vintage Scrabble tiles can add significant value to their collection. 27th. Vintage medicine bottles. From tiny glass vials to ornate apothecary jars, these bottles give a glimpse into the medical practices of the past. Labels promising miracle cures or instant health are especially fascinating and sometimes hilarious. 28th. Celebrity-owned items. From Marilyn Monroe's makeup compact to Michael Jackson's glove, owning something that belonged to a celebrity is the ultimate dream for some collectors. The more personal the item, the higher its value. 29th. Matchbooks. Matchbooks from restaurants, hotels, and events have been collectible for decades. Their vibrant designs and logos tell stories of places and times gone by, making them miniature works of art. 30th. Vintage firefighter helmets. These helmets come in a variety of designs, often reflecting the era and region they were used in. Collectors admire them as symbols of bravery and craftsmanship, and some even restore them to their original shine. 31st. Oddly shaped vegetables. Carrots that look like legs, tomatoes shaped like hearts. Some collectors love to photograph and preserve these natural oddities. Some even turn them into artwork, like framed displays or sculptures. 32nd. Road signs. No, they're not stolen. Collectors legally acquire decommissioned road signs from auctions or government sales. A stop sign on your wall is one thing, but a rare Route 66 sign? That's a centerpiece. 33rd. Typewriter keys. Vintage typewriters are bulky, but their keys are collectible gems. These intricate pieces are often turned into jewelry or framed for display, making them a popular choice for creative collectors. 34th. Retro lunchboxes. Once just a school essential, metal lunchboxes featuring superheroes, cartoons, and TV shows are now collector's items. A rare 1960s Superman lunchbox can fetch hundreds of dollars at auction. 35th. Vintage pinball machines. Collectors adore these colorful machines, not just for their nostalgic gameplay, but also for their vibrant artwork and complex mechanisms. Restoring a pinball machine to its original glory is a labor of love. 36th. Old keys. Skeleton keys and vintage padlock keys are surprisingly popular. Each key tells a story, whether it unlocked a 19th century mansion or a dusty treasure chest. 37th. Beer cans. From classic Budweiser designs to limited edition microbrewery cans, beer can collecting is a massive hobby. Some enthusiasts even organize their collections by brewery, region, or era. 38th. Polaroid cameras. Instant cameras from the 70s and 80s have made a comeback, and collectors can't get enough. Rare models, especially ones in bold colors, are highly sought after. 39th. Vintage snow globes. Tiny winter wonderlands trapped in glass domes have an undeniable charm. Collectors often focus on rare globes from specific cities or events, making them nostalgic souvenirs. 40th. Napkin sketches. Believe it or not, doodles and sketches on napkins by famous artists, or even quirky amateurs, have become collectible. One person's quick sketch is another's treasure. 41st. Sports team pennants. Vintage felt pennants from baseball, football, or even minor league teams are prized collectibles. Their retro typography and bold colors make them perfect for decorating man caves or game rooms. 42nd. Alien-themed memorabilia. From Roswell souvenirs to Area 51 mugs, alien enthusiasts collect all kinds of extraterrestrial-themed items. Some even claim their collections prove we're not alone in the universe. 43rd. Buttons and pins, campaign buttons, pop culture pins, or handmade designs. There's a pin for every interest. Some collections span thousands of pieces, creating a colorful snapshot of history and fandom. 44th. Old glassware. Glassware from the early 20th century, especially pieces with unique colors, patterns, or etchings, is often collected. Vintage items like Depression glass or Murano glass are highly prized for their craftsmanship and beauty. Collectors search for rare patterns or specific colors that are no longer made. 45th. Vintage spoons. Souvenir spoons from cities and landmarks used to be popular travel keepsakes. Today, they're a sought-after collectible, often displayed in ornate wooden cases. 46th. Vintage carnival prizes. Carnival prizes from the mid-20th century are a nostalgic favorite for collectors. Plush toys with slightly creepy eyes, tin toys that wind up, or even novelty glassware with logos from old fairs. Each piece captures the charm and whimsy of a bygone era. Many collectors try to find prizes from specific regional fairs, making their collections feel like a trip through history. 47th. Garden gnomes. These quirky lawn ornaments come in all shapes and sizes, and some collectors dedicate their entire yards to showcasing gnome collections. The variety is astounding. Classic, spooky, or even sci-fi themed gnomes like ones dressed as astronauts or zombies. It's hard not to smile when faced with an army of cheerful ceramic faces. 48th. Antique hairbrushes. Hairbrushes might not sound fascinating, but antique versions with ornate handles and intricate designs have a dedicated fan base. Many are made from silver or ivory and feature floral carvings or monograms. Collectors see them as elegant artifacts of personal care from the Victorian and Edwardian eras. 49th. Vintage Viewmaster Reels. Remember those plastic Viewmasters from your childhood? The reels, tiny discs of slides, are now highly collectible. From tourist attractions to rare Disney editions, each reel offers a peek into the past. Some collectors even hunt down rare 3D reels that were never widely released. 50th. Unusual license plates. Collecting license plates isn't just about old or expired ones. It's about the unique designs and slogans states use. Some enthusiasts even build entire walls in their homes covered in plates from all 50 states, or plates with funny or rare combinations like LOL 123 or No Gas. 51st. Vintage circus posters. Bright, colorful, and full of drama, old circus posters are like pieces of pop art. Collectors love their bold fonts, daring illustrations of performers, and glimpses into the golden age of circus entertainment. Rare posters featuring famous acts like P.T. Barnum's or the Flying Wallendas can sell for thousands of dollars. 52nd. Old maps. Whether it's a centuries-old map of the New World or a mid-century road map of Route 66, collectors love cartographic history. The beauty lies in the details: hand-drawn coastlines, elaborate compass roses, and sometimes even mistakes that reveal how people once viewed the world. 53rd. Fossils and bones. Fossilized plants, trilobites, or even dinosaur bones are prized by collectors with a passion for natural history. While large bones are rare and often expensive, smaller fossils like ancient shark teeth or ammonites are more accessible and equally fascinating. 54th. Vintage alarm clocks. Before smartphones, alarm clocks were essential, and many had quirky designs. From mid-century modern clocks with starburst faces to antique wind-ups with bells on top, collectors are drawn to the functional art of these timepieces. 55th. Retro arcade tokens. Arcades may be less common today, but their tokens live on as nostalgic collectibles. With unique designs stamped for individual arcades, they serve as reminders of hours spent playing Pac-Man or Skee-Ball. Some rare tokens from defunct arcades can fetch surprising prices online. 56th. Hotel towels and bathrobes. While it may seem odd, collecting branded towels and bathrobes from luxury hotels is a niche hobby. High-end hotels like the Ritz-Carlton or Waldorf Astoria often have distinctive designs, and collectors value them as symbols of opulence or cheeky souvenirs. 57th. Milk bottles. Before cartons and plastic jugs, milk came in glass bottles, often embossed or printed with logos of local dairies. Collectors treasure these bottles for their craftsmanship and nostalgia, often organizing them by region or dairy brand. 58th. Obsolete technology. From rotary phones to first-generation iPods, old tech has become collectible. It's not just about nostalgia. Many collectors appreciate the innovation and design that paved the way for modern devices. Imagine a shelf lined with classic Game Boys and 1980s camcorders. 59th. Vintage comic strips. Original prints or newspaper clippings of old comic strips like Peanuts or Calvin and Hobbes are a treasure trove for fans. Some collectors frame their favorites, while others hunt down rare editions that showcase the evolution of beloved characters. 60th. Unusual playing cards. Standard decks are fine, but collectors go wild for themed or artist-designed playing cards. Some rare decks feature holographic designs, intricate illustrations, or even custom shapes, making them tiny works of art. 61st. Old movie tickets. While most people toss their ticket stubs, some keep them as mementos of special films or events. Collectors value tickets from premieres or historic screenings, like the first showing of Star Wars in 1977 or Gone with the Wind in 1939. 62nd. Vintage skates. Roller skates and ice skates from past decades, with their leather boots and retro designs, are highly sought after. Some collectors even restore and display them as part of the evolving history of skating culture. 63rd. Fake food displays. Originally designed for restaurants, Fake food items like plastic sushi or faux burgers have become collectibles. The hyper-realistic details make them oddly fascinating, and some collectors even build entire fake kitchens filled with these plastic delicacies. 64th. Embroidered patches. Whether they're from military uniforms, biker clubs, or national parks, embroidered patches tell unique stories. Collectors often sew them onto jackets or display them in shadow boxes, showcasing years of history in colorful thread. 65th. Obsolete currency. Coins and bills no longer in circulation are a popular collectible, but some enthusiasts go further, seeking out quirky currency, like wooden nickels or Confederate bills. Each piece offers a glimpse into economic history. 66th. Vintage soda bottles. These glass bottles are like little time capsules, each with its own unique design and history. Coca-Cola's iconic contour bottle is the most famous, but collectors often seek rare regional sodas with unusual shapes or embossing. Some bottles even have errors in the logos, making them extremely valuable. 67th. Bar coasters. Bar coasters are simple but fun collectibles, capturing the essence of the pub culture of their time. Vintage coasters featuring quirky graphics or clever slogans from local breweries or famous bars are prized by collectors. They're small, but every coaster has a story, whether it's from a dive bar or an iconic speakeasy. 68th. Miniature perfume bottles. Mini perfume bottles are like tiny works of art, each with intricate designs and shapes, from swans to shoes. Collectors love finding rare ones, especially those from vintage perfume brands, and sometimes the bottles are more valuable than the fragrance inside. These little treasures can be displayed or even used as decorations. 69th. Gas station signs. Old gas station signs are true Americana, often featuring bold neon lights or vintage logos from now-defunct companies like Texaco or Shell. These signs evoke a sense of nostalgia, and collectors hunt for them to add a touch of retro charm to their homes, sometimes paying thousands for rare or working pieces. 70th. Christmas ornaments. Vintage Christmas ornaments, especially those made from glass, are cherished for their nostalgic appeal. Many collectors look for hand-painted designs from the 1940s and 50s, often featuring classic holiday scenes or kitschy figures like Santa and snowmen. These ornaments are more than just decorations. They're pieces of holiday history. 71st. Teapots with a twist. Teapots don't have to be ordinary. Collectors go wild for quirky, whimsical designs. Anything from a teapot shaped like a cat to one that looks like a UFO. These charming teapots often become the centerpiece of a collection, showing that tea time can be just as fun as it is functional. 72nd. Theme park tickets. Old theme park tickets, especially those from legendary places like Disneyland, are a collector's dream. The classic e-ticket from the 50s and 60s, used for the best rides in the park, is highly sought after. Some collectors even chase down rare tickets from one-time events or early park openings. 73rd. Celebrity autographs on weird items. While photos are common for celebrity autographs, some collectors prefer them on unexpected items, like a toaster, a baseball bat, or even a chair. These quirky signatures turn everyday objects into one-of-a-kind memorabilia, offering a personal connection to the stars. 74th. Obsolete medical tools. Old medical tools like glass syringes or brass stethoscopes are fascinating relics from a time when healthcare looked very different. Collectors appreciate the craftsmanship and history behind these tools, with some rare items selling for high prices due to their age and rarity. 75th. Unusual ice cube trays. Forget basic ice cube trays. Today's collectors are after those shaped like animals, superheroes, or even abstract designs. Retro aluminum trays from the 50s or funky silicone molds from recent years are often collected as quirky kitchen decor, adding some fun to your frozen cubes. 76th. Cereal boxes. Vintage cereal boxes, especially from limited edition runs, have become quirky collectibles. From special character promotions to rare, discontinued flavors, these boxes are like pieces of pop culture history. Some collectors even keep the cereal sealed for added authenticity. 77th, movie props. Movie props are pieces of film history that fans love to own. Whether it's a prop sword from Lord of the Rings or a chair from a James Bond movie, these items bring a bit of the magic of Hollywood into your home. Some iconic props can even fetch hundreds of thousands of dollars at auctions. 78th, hotel keys. Before key cards, hotel keys were big, heavy, and often engraved with intricate designs. Collectors seek these vintage keys for their charm, as each one tells a story of travel and luxury from different parts of the world. They're small but hold decades of history. 79th, rare zippers. Zippers might seem ordinary, but collectors are obsessed with rare and vintage ones. Old zippers with unique pulls or made from uncommon materials like brass or ivory are valuable for their craftsmanship. Some collectors even organize them into themed displays based on their history or design. 80th, handmade quilts. Handmade quilts are more than just bedding. They're pieces of art. Many collectors focus on quilts with intricate patterns, particularly those made during specific historical periods or by famous quilters. The craftsmanship and the stories behind each quilt add to their appeal. 81st, vintage clocks with odd shapes. Clocks can be more than just timekeepers. They can be sculptures. Collectors often seek out clocks shaped like animals, cars, or even abstract art. These functional yet quirky pieces add personality to any room and showcase a fun side of timekeeping. 82nd, old cameras and film rolls. Old cameras, especially vintage ones from brands like Kodak or Leica, are sought after by collectors for their history and design. Some cameras even come with old film rolls still inside, giving collectors the opportunity to develop photographs that haven't been seen in decades. 83rd, ceramic ashtrays. Once essential in every home, ceramic ashtrays have become nostalgic relics of the past. Vintage ashtrays from bars, hotels, and restaurants with bold logos or unique shapes are hot collectibles, especially those from the mid-century period. They are quirky, functional, and full of character. 84th, first edition books. First edition books are prized by collectors, especially when they're signed by the author. These books represent the beginning of a literary journey, and owning one feels like holding a piece of history. Some first editions, like those of Harry Potter or The Great Gatsby, can be worth thousands of dollars. 85th, vintage vinyl records with odd covers. Vinyl records are a timeless collectible, but it's the oddball album covers that really get collectors excited. From psychedelic artwork to bizarre photos, these albums tell a story before you even put the needle down. Some rare records with quirky covers can fetch big bucks, especially if they have a unique backstory or were only released for a limited time. 86th, postcards with unique postmarks. Postcards are more than just souvenirs. They're history captured in a snapshot. Collectors love postcards from far-off places, especially those with unusual or rare postmarks. Limited edition cancellations like those celebrating historical events or space missions are highly sought after, adding a unique twist to the art of sending messages. 87th, tiny hats. Tiny hats may seem like an odd thing to collect, but they have their charm. These miniature fashion accessories, often created for dolls or display purposes, come in all shapes and styles, from elegant fascinators to whimsical party hats. It's a niche collection, but for the right person, it's an adorable hobby that adds a fun flair to any shelf. 88th, antique candlesticks. Candlesticks were once essential to lighting the home, but now they're prized for their beauty and craftsmanship. Vintage ones, made of silver, brass, or even glass, come in intricate designs. Some collectors even specialize in specific styles, like Art Nouveau or Colonial, seeking out rare and exquisite pieces to display proudly. 89th, vintage kitchen utensils. Kitchen tools might not seem like a glamorous collectible, but old-fashioned items like egg beaters, butter churns, and manual coffee grinders hold a lot of charm. These vintage tools are a step back in time to a simpler way of cooking. They're often crafted from sturdy materials like cast iron or wood, making them perfect for display or practical use in retro kitchens. 90th. Oddly shaped rocks. Nature has a way of surprising us, and oddly shaped rocks are one of its quirkiest offerings. Whether it's a rock that looks like an animal, a heart, or even a human face, collectors are fascinated by these naturally formed oddities. Some people go as far as to polish these stones to highlight their strange shapes and display them as artistic pieces. 91st. Retro fast food toys. Fast food chains used to include toys in their kids' meals, and today, these miniature treasures are worth a lot to collectors. From the colorful McDonald's Happy Meal toys to rare promotions featuring characters like Star Wars or Pokemon, these toys are a nostalgic trip down memory lane for many. Full sets from limited-time offers can fetch hundreds of dollars. 92nd. Obsolete airline memorabilia. The golden age of air travel is a time collectors can't get enough of. Old airline tickets, vintage boarding passes, branded napkins, and even stewardess uniforms are hot items. These pieces represent a time when flying was a luxury experience, and now they're cherished as part of the history of aviation. Some rare items, like old safety cards or first-class menus, can be surprisingly valuable. 93rd. Shoehorns. A seemingly mundane item, the shoehorn has a surprising following among collectors. Vintage ones made from high-quality materials like sterling silver or intricately carved wood are highly sought after. For some collectors, it's not just about utility. It's about appreciating the craftsmanship of these simple but elegant tools. 94th. Miniature vehicles. Miniature vehicles, from die-cast cars to model airplanes, are a classic collectible for hobbyists. Whether it's vintage Hot Wheels, model trains, or intricately crafted cars, these tiny vehicles often have stunning details that make them unique. Collectors might focus on rare editions, cars from specific years, or even limited-run vehicles tied to special events or movies. 95th. Vintage protest signs. Protest signs might seem like an odd collectible, but they hold immense historical significance. Signs from major protests, whether civil rights marches or environmental demonstrations, serve as powerful reminders of social movements. For collectors, they represent a tangible connection to important events in history, with some signs becoming iconic symbols of change. 96th. Marbles with unique swirls. A childhood toy turned collector's item. Marbles are often valued for their color patterns and rarity. Some marbles, particularly those with unusual swirls or bubbles, are highly prized for their intricate designs. A marble collection can become a fascinating hobby, with collectors searching for rare glass and vintage marbles from specific eras. 97th. Pressed pennies. Pressed pennies are small, affordable souvenirs that have become surprisingly collectible. Usually made by rolling a coin through a machine with a design pressed into it, these pennies often commemorate tourist attractions or special events. Collectors can track down rare ones from theme parks, national landmarks, or even World's Fairs, creating a mini history book through their coin collection. 98th. Antique doll heads. Creepy or charming, antique doll heads are sought after by collectors of vintage toys. These doll parts, often made of porcelain or bisque, can be found at flea markets or estate sales, each with its own backstory. While some people use them for spooky displays or art projects, others focus on finding rare and beautifully painted doll faces from past centuries. 99th. Old matchstick models. Believe it or not, people have been building incredible things from matchsticks for centuries. From intricate ships to full-scale buildings, matchstick models are a true labor of love. Some collectors specialize in these tiny architectural wonders, appreciating the patience and detail involved in creating such delicate, fascinating designs. 100th. Tiny perfume atomizers. Small yet luxurious, vintage perfume atomizers are often crafted from glass, silver, or crystal. Collectors prize these delicate pieces not only for their functional purpose, but also for their beautiful design. Some atomizers even feature ornate engravings or intricate patterns, turning them into functional works of art. 101st. Meteorites. For collectors with an astronomical curiosity, owning a piece of a meteorite is the ultimate prize. These space rocks have traveled millions of years and billions of miles to crash down to Earth, making them rare and fascinating relics from outer space. Whether it's a small fragment or a massive hunk of rock, each piece holds a piece of the universe's history and a hefty price tag. What do you think of these bizarre collections? Which one would you love to start collecting? Let me know in the comments.